The next day, after you confide in Shaunie, Evelyn's asking you on camera about those same messages that only Shaunie could have known about because you said it to her the day prior.
Well, I had sent it to Shaunie before we even started filming. But I started confiding in Shaunie a little bit more because I felt like she was like a big sister to me, you know, because I still trusted her. But then that next day is when those text messages that she had had for months prior, all of a sudden now we're talking about them in a scene.
Is that the day you knew you could not trust Shaunie?
What's up, y'all? I just want to get on here and talk about Shaunie and how Shaunie has been using Evelyn to do all her dirty work for years. How she been sharing things that go on behind the scenes, showing Evelyn tapes of what was filmed the day before, text messages, recorded phone calls, all that for Evelyn to do her dirty work, and the rabbit hole goes deep. So please subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and share with a friend and get at me in the comments. So let's get into this. We are about to share screenshots, receipts, text messages, timelines.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, everything.
Okay, y'all, so Carlos King, I was watching one of his other interviews, and I can say this interview was a hell of a lot better than the Chantel interview. Kudos to you, Carlos, because you weren't being biased in this interview. You were getting all the tea, and this is what I like to see. But yeah, in this interview that he did with Royce Reed, she dropped a lot of tea about all the dirty games that Shaunie and Evelyn play behind the scenes, and how Shaunie uses Evelyn to do all her dirty work. And Shaunie even used Royce to go get her the bag and get her show picked up by network. She was out shopping around the show, trying to get the show picked up, only for her to fuck her out the deal. And she didn't even get a producer credit or anything. It's starting to look like Shaunie might bring these women on this show to embarrass them and have Evelyn do her dirty work by airing their ass out, embarrassing them, and then getting rid of them altogether. Because why would she bring Laura and her sister on the show? She already knew Laura and Shaq supposedly had something going on, or maybe it was Gloria. Who fucking knows at this point? But Shaunie said that she hired an investigator. An investigator looked through the text messages and found him texting Laura, and she found out they were messing around. So you knew this before Basketball Wives ever was a thing. So why would you choose to bring her on the show? That makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. You bring her on the show to embarrass her, then kick her off the show. Then you did the same thing with Royce. Then you turned your back on Tammy. You did the same thing with Tammy. You had Evelyn on the show talking shit about Tammy about things that you told Evelyn. It's a pattern with Shaunie. Don't believe me? Just look at the receipts.
And we were away. You told me and Shaunie that you could no longer have kids no more.
I told you that,
Shaunie you could no longer have kids.
Imagine your quote-unquote friend going and telling your op that, oh, you're faking that you're getting pregnant and having miscarriages for a storyline, that you've been told her you can't even have kids. And Evelyn sits on the reunion stage and says, Shaunie told me, you told her you can't even have kids. And Tammy looks at Shaunie like, you told her that, Shaunie? And Shaunie over there digging in the fucking flowers, acting like she don't hear nothing. What type of friend is that, y'all? And this is the reason why Tammy left the show. That's when she realized that Shaunie is not her friend. She said it in several interviews. That's when she realized that wasn't her friend. She got up off the reunion stage, put her clothes on, and left, and we ain't seen her ever since.
I told you.
Hold on.
Tammy Roman, don't tap me.
Then you gonna tell her, don't tap me? Tammy Roman, don't tap me. The fucking audacity. But then the next scene, we see Tammy packing her shit up, leaving. She left the show, and they flash back to Shaunie asking her, what's up with that? And she's like, oh,
I don't know. Maybe she just got mad at what Evelyn said a few minutes ago. I don't know.
She gave no fucks that Evelyn had just aired out what she had told Evelyn. She gave no cares that she left that stage and quit the show. She didn't care because she doesn't care about people. She's divisive. She did the same thing to Laura Govan. She was off the show. Ben had left the show. But what happened? She dropped her little book. And in her little book, she exposed that Laura was messing with her husband, supposedly. And she found messages. Mind you, she knew this way before she ever joined the show. What does she do? She brings her on the show. They give her and her sister a hard time. They leave the show. Then she writes about it in the book. Then what does she do? She DMs Laura, and I got this from Carlos's interview that he did with Laura. She DMs Laura and asks her to come back to the show. Laura comes back on the show. What the fuck do they do? At the dinner table, Evelyn tries to embarrass her and read a part of the book of Shaunie saying that she found messages of Laura and Shaq and blah, 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 blah. They try to embarrass the fuck out of Laura. And Laura shut it down and was like, that ain't none of y'all business. I'm not discussing this.
I wanted to play something.
I got her on the phone and said, I just saw all your messages to my husband.
Again, what was the point of having Laura? Mind you, Shaunie DM'd Laura to come back on the show. And she was on one episode. What was the point of having her come back for Evelyn to sit down at the table and be like, weren't you friends with Shaunie? And she was like, yeah, I loved Shaunie. I loved Shaunie. Me and Shaunie were close. She's like, I have something to play for you. Boom, plays on the speaker. Shaunie reading the book, talking about she hired an IT guy to look through Shaq's text messages and found out he was messing with her. She confronted her and blah, blah, blah. Why would you do that? Like, do y'all not see a pattern here? Is your whole point of your show to bring bitches on that your husband talked to just so you can embarrass them? But you want us to believe that Shaq never got at Evelyn. No, that's off limits. Shaq is like the male fought of Instagram. Any bitch who's hot, the Home Depot bitch got hot. She got hot she was thick. They put her on Instagram. She went viral. Shaq was in her DMs the next day. They were shopping the next day. Any chick that gets hot, Brittany Renner. That's another chick that been messing with Shaq. She swears they ain't slept together. Why would she bring her on the show? Think about it. Every single chick she be bringing on the show got a connection to Shaq. What is the reason? Let's not forget, they just did this to Jackie at the last reunion. Shaunie was on the stage. Brooke was on the stage. They all were on stage telling Shaunie, oh, we have Jackie on a recorded phone call saying that she want to slap you. And what does Shaunie say? I'm not surprised that you said that, Jackie. I'm just surprised you didn't think they were going to come tell me.
It wasn't a surprise. What was a surprise is that you thought these people were loyal to you and not going to tell me.
Do y'all see the pattern here? That Shaunie has all the ladies doing all her dirty work. They recording Jackie on phone calls. They trying to get Jackie off. They've been trying their hardest to get her off the show. So you can't tell me that wasn't the plots this season. Especially when Chantel went on Carlos King and said it basically that the producers told her that her mom said she was impressionable. They were trying to create a moment.
And I think that when I finally get to Hawaii and I'm coming in on 10 and I'm asking her, did you call me impressionable? That came from Vegas. Mm-hmm. The whole cast and production, everybody else is staying in the same house. When these cameras are not rolling, there are a lot of conversations that happen off camera. You guys are all conjoined in here in this living room talking about these scenarios, and you're telling this group of women who don't know me, and these producers, well, yeah, because Shaunie, she's very impressionable, and so you just gotta, kind of just keep an eye out, basically. What?
Just so happens Shaunie happened to be there for this one episode when this shit happened in Vegas, when Jackie said to producers that her daughter was impressionable, and somehow that got back to Chantel. If y'all don't think that they told her little homegirl Denise, yeah, you need to bring this back to Chantel because we ain't really got nothing going on over here, so you need to tell Chantel that her mom says she's impressionable. Because just like Royce said, they didn't have nothing going on in their first episode, so they created drama by sending her to that pool party and having the girls all act like they're so disgusted of her dancing at a pool party. But who am I? Just fucking conspiracy theorist? I don't know. Let's take a look at the interview that she did with Carlos King and all the things that Royce Reed had to say about Shaunie's shady ass ways and how Evelyn does her dirty work. Let's get into it.
Reality TV show Basketball Wives come about then?
So I was dancing for the Heat, and even prior to that, I knew Shaunie, and we were always cool. Like, she always respected me because I guess I was one of the dancers that respected the wives, But like, I always respected everybody's relationship, and she came up to me one day, and she asked me about if I would be interested in doing a show. And I was like, well, what kind of show? And she was like, just kind of following those who've had relationships with, basketball players, and you being a dancer, like even kind of navigating that. And I was like, oh, okay, because I had confided in her about some stuff I had been going through. And I trusted that it was going to be a very positive, you know, show that really showed everybody's career. And yeah, I was hoodwinked, bamboozled.
You would never think the way that Evelyn and Shaunie treated Royce on the show, that Shaunie approached Royce and asked her if she could be on Basketball Wives. And, you know, they had this good relationship. She knew that Royce wasn't like a thought messing with all the players. You would never think that. The way that she brought her on the show, and Evelyn just went in on her ass episode after episode, tried to insinuate that she was a hoe, she was a groupie. She literally got mad at Royce for dancing at a dancing fucking competition when they were at a pool party. I'm going to show the clip because it's fucking insane. And we're going to talk about Royce talking about that situation also, but just keep listening.
Royce heads over to the stripper pole and she starts thrusting and dancing, and I wasn't surprised because that's Royce. There's a few signs there that Royce could have groupie-ish tendencies.
The nerve and audacity, that was Evelyn. The nerve and audacity of Evelyn to be calling her a groupie, saying she got groupie tendencies for freaking dancing. You seen how she was dancing, fully clothed, right? This is how Evelyn treated her throughout the show. And this was just one instance of they went out to a club and Royce is wearing a fucking sweatsuit dancing. And Evelyn had a problem with it. Then they sat down with Royce and made her cry. This is a separate situation from the pool party that we're going to talk about later. But just look at how they made Royce cry over dancing at the club. Okay, so this is the pool incident. They go to a pool party. Royce is over there dancing. Mind you, they know she's a fucking dancer. They know she's a cheerleader. So there's a dance competition. Roy goes up there, kills it, and wins the competition, right? After they posted on Media Takeout, and Jennifer and Evelyn go over to Evelyn's house so they can talk about, oh my God, we need to talk about this. Evelyn whips out her computer and is showing Jennifer the video of her dancing, right? Like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, she's doing too much. She's making us look bad. She looks like a groupie. So they decide they need to sit down and have a talk with her about the way she acts, because they can't be hanging around with someone that acts like this. And they make her cry. And look at this conversation.
Today, Jennifer, Evelyn, and I are having an intervention with Royce to try to get her to understand that her actions at the pool party were not very appropriate.
It's bad because, you know, like she said, she's married, I own a business, I have a daughter that's in high school, you know what I mean? They're like, what are you doing with this girl? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it looks bad.
Yeah, that was Evelyn talking about, it looks bad. So the homegirl dancing at a pool party in a one piece looks bad for them, but not letting your daughter get pregnant by an old ass man that's your age, by your friend's baby daddy. That don't look bad, but I digress. So they, throughout the season, treated Royce like shit and bullied her. You would never think that Shaunie is the one who brought her on the show and approached her and sent her to all the meetings to actually get the show picked up. You would never think that. Just keep watching the interview.
Did you know who the other cast members were going to be?
No, because I think at that point, I might have been the only one that she had talked about it with, because then I was introduced to Tom Huffman, who was the creator. And he started having me go to all the meetings. I was the one who pitched the show. When we went and filmed the little sizzle, I was the only cast member that went to all the stations. I was the only one that was in those meetings. Shaunie wasn't even there. It was me and Tom, yeah.
Wait, so when the show was being developed, Royce Reed, you were a part of developing the show?
Yes. I was the only cast member that went to all those meetings. I even have on my Facebook, I have a whole like gallery when I was at all the stations taking pictures. Like, this is cool. Yeah, I met with all the heads. Yeah.
Were you also in the pitch meetings? And
yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I did those meetings. She wasn't even there. Her best friend was there. It was me, Tom, and like her best friend. Nobody else from the cast.
So throughout this pitching process, I never heard this story before.
I know.
Oh.
You wouldn't. If you don't say anything, maybe nobody will see it.
Is there a reason you didn't ask for a producer credit? You didn't know?
I didn't know.
You didn't know too? You didn't know too. Is it safe to say that you're one of the creators of Basketball Wives?
I would say so.
Because you put everything together.
Yep. I sold the show.
You sold the show. You sold the show and you stole the show. Well, the show was stolen from you, allegedly.
Yeah, apparently I was fired. Okay.
When you guys were filming, what we did see was it seemed like you were the underdog. You know, the one that they said these words. She's bummy. You're a bum. She's a gold digger. Did you know that these girls felt that way while y'all were filming, or was it you watching the episodes while it was airing that you knew they felt this way?
So I started hearing things, and I guess it was a blessing and a curse when I was on the show with Shaunie being a cast member and a producer, because she didn't tell me things, but she would tell Evelyn and Jen things that she would see on clips.
Do you think, as an executive producer, you should be going back telling other cast members what you've seen and heard on clips? What would be the point of her going back telling Evelyn or Jennifer anything bad about Royce? And don't that sound familiar? Don't that sound like what Chantel said happened? Chantel said she heard that her mom had a conversation with the producers and was telling them that her daughter's very impressionable. Now, what would be the point of feeding Chantel that information besides to be divisive? Like, come on, let's be real. So in Royce's face, you love her. She's a great dancer. You want her to be on the show. You have her go shop the show around, sit down with radio DJs, and get her to get the show picked up. But then once the show's picked up, we never seen a friendship between Royce and Shaunie on the show. Do y'all remember that? I don't remember that. It was always like Royce was the underdog. Nobody liked her. We never seen that there was a friendship between Royce and Shaunie ever. But let's continue.
So when they would ask me about something, or they would ask somebody else about something, and be like, where is this coming from? Or how did they hear this? So that's when we kind of started figuring out, like, people are being fed things.
That's when her and others found out that Shaunie was behind the scenes feeding tea to Evelyn.
So initially they were fine with me. Like, we were filming, and I remember even Sean coming up to me and saying, like, hey, we need something, because right now we don't have anything. It's boring, you know? Like, we don't have anything for episode 1. Like, we need you something. And they still didn't get it until we did the pool party.
So she says they had been filming, and the producers were like, we don't have anything. It's boring. You guys need to do something. And then that's when magically came this pool party. They sent everyone down there to go film at the pool party. What the hell else are you supposed to do at a pool party besides swim, which nobody ever does, dance, drink? Like, what else do you do? So there was a dance competition, and Roy joined in. She said all the ladies were cool with it. They all thought she was doing a great job. And if you watch the episode, you can look it up on TikTok. They were all cheering her on. Evelyn is in her confessionals talking about she was doing too much, but literally in the fucking shot of the clip, she's literally bending over, looking at Roy twerk and smiling, kikiing, having a great time. So who do you think stirred up this drama? Like, this is just a thing for basketball wives. Like, oh, we don't have enough drama. Let's stir up some drama. Oh, Jackie's getting along with her daughter. Let's stir up some drama and tell her that Jackie said she's very impressionable. Because literally, they didn't have a problem until they told Chantel, your mom said you're very impressionable. That's when she came in with this big-ass attitude.
But
explain to the audience what happened at this infamous pool party.
yeah, so again, at this time, everybody was cool with me. Nobody had said anything sideways. No one was calling me a gold digger or a hoe or anything like that. And they were pushing me to do it, pushing me to do it, pushing me to do it. You can see that actually on the episode. And at first I was like, no, because something in my brain was like, this might not look right. But I didn't feel like it was that big of a deal either, because after I won, they were all clapping it up like, oh my God, you did your thing. But then the next day, you know, they're like, okay, you're going to film with, you know, these girls or whatever, and you're just going to talk about the pool party. Okay, cool. So I think we went into, was it Evelyn's shoe store? I can't remember exactly. I feel like that's where it was. And it was like a bomb was dropped on me. And that's when they were saying all these things like, oh, it's a bad look for us, and we look crazy hanging with you. And I remember, like, I started, like, getting emotional. I think I even dropped a few tears because it came out of nowhere. These girls were just cool with me, and now all of a sudden, I make you look bad?
Okay, so I already showed y'all the clip of her dancing in a fucking sweatsuit, and then her dancing in a one piece with pants on. And mind you, they begged her to do this scene. They had nothing. They had no drama. So they're like, Royce, go out there, do your thing, clapped it up. If you watch the episode, they were all proud of her. Oh, she's doing the most. Then the next day when it drops on Media Takeout, oh, Evelyn has a problem with it. Jennifer has a problem with it. They want to shoot a scene with her, and it was the worst scene I ever seen. If that scene came out today, they definitely would be like, oh, y'all are bullies, y'all are canceled. They were sitting there making Royce cry, talking about, I own a store, I can't be associated with someone like you, you're making us look bad. Like, the girl was crying. It was fucking sad, actually. It was really sad. I'm not even gonna lie. Go back and watch the episode. If I could post the whole thing on here, I would. But this is just to show you that all the divisiveness, all the pumping people up, aka Evelyn, pumping Evelyn up to go after Royce. For what?
Did you feel betrayed that the girls were saying this about you for the sake of making good TV?
Yes. And I think it continued to be that.
Did you ever talk to Shaunie about how you were feeling or confide in her?
Not after filming. I tried to confide in her during filming.
Yeah.
And even with that, I realized I couldn't trust her because prior to the show even starting, I had sent her a thread of where her ex-husband, you know, had been texting me. And nothing ever happened. He actually cursed me out because I wouldn't talk to him. But I wanted everything to be out in the open. I wanted her to see everything, so if anything ever happened or was said, she knew it wasn't true.
So while Shaunie was married to Shaq, Shaq was texting you flirty messages.
Yes, but this was when I was dancing. So,
as a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it came down to, well, how'd he get your number? And he had gotten it from one of the ball boys, right? How'd the ball boy get my number? Because we used to all go out and hang at parties. Like, we were cool. But anyway, fast forward. I confided in her, and I was really like kind of pouring out my heart to her, even about some personal stuff that was going on, you know, back at home. And then that next day filming, I'm getting asked about those messages from Evelyn. It didn't air, but I'm getting asked about it.
The next day after you confided in Shaunie, Evelyn is asking you on camera about those same messages that only Shaunie could have known about because you said it to her the day prior.
Well, I had sent it to Shaunie before we even started filming. But I started confiding in Shaunie a little bit more because I felt like she was like a big sister to me, you know, because I still trusted her. But then that next day is when those text messages that she had had for months prior, all of a sudden now we're talking about them in a scene.
Is that the day you knew you could not trust Shaunie?
That's the day I really realized I couldn't trust any of them. I was like, you have no friends. Yeah.
It seems like Shaunie has a pattern of bringing women on the show that she knows that her husband messed with or tried to talk to, and she likes to bring them on the show to try to drag them down and embarrass them. But she ain't gonna do that. She gonna have Evelyn do it. She gonna give Evelyn the information. Evelyn's gonna put it out there, and Evelyn's gonna do her dirty work. Is that why Evelyn is able to keep her job after all this time and she never gets fired? Because it just kind of makes no sense how she just never gets fired, except for that one time that she took a little leave of absence. But if Royce had been told you that Shaq was trying to get at her, she been showed you the messages that he was trying to DM her and text her and try to get at her, you gonna come back later and be like, oh, well, how did he get your number? Oh, well, how did that person get your number? Bitch, that's besides the point. The point is your husband was trying to get at me. I wasn't trying to get at him. And you already knew this before the show ever even came about. So why bring Royce on the show? Why? Why even bring her on the show if you thought your husband was trying to get at her, or if you knew that he was trying to get at her? But you're going to save that ammunition for later, put her on the show, then have Evelyn do your dirty work and bring these text messages up. But they never aired that on the show. That's what she said. Okay, so after that, Evelyn has this mysterious problem with Royce. She tries to call her hoe. She tries to call her all these things. And Royce is like, that's funny because, you know, I actually know she's a hoe. And I have people hitting me up, telling me things about her that I would never even expose about her. But she goes on to talk about how when they got in a fight, you know, she thought it was premeditated. She knew something was going to happen. And what a convenience that production protected her.
Because she had been playing with me for so long. And it had just been words. It just been words. But the moment she tried to touch my body with a glass, what? All gloves are off, literally. I grabbed her and I tried to hit her with my glass. But I tried to hit her with the glass. I ain't throwing shit. But then, you know, the drag her ass across the table and that's when they picked me up. And I'm like, in what reality show ever have you seen the bodyguards get there that fast?
Are you alleging that it was premeditated?
Yeah. I think like they expected us to fight. I think they knew that that was her plan. And damn, that close.
That close. Was Evelyn protected by production?
That's a hard question. I would say she was protected in the sense of when she did all this craziness, she never got in trouble for it. Or she never got, like, warned or reprimanded. Yeah. But they were for the shits. Like, they wanted it. They loved it when she walked her ass across the table. You know what I mean? They were like, this is great for TV. And I was like, I need to get off this show.
Make no mistake about it. Royce was put on that show to be embarrassed, to make her look bad, to make her look like a groupie, to make her look like a cheerleader that sleeps with basketball players and got pregnant. Never once did we see any type of friendship between her and Shaunie on the show. We never seen her acting like a big sis to her ever. She had a target on her back from the moment she walked on the show. This is in her words, not mine. She felt like she was set up with the fight, that security ran in and grabbed her as soon as she was about to get her lick back on Evelyn. And then Evelyn demanded she never film with her again. And then she was never seen again. So this is just like a hostile work environment. And it seems like the same plot happens over and over and over on Basketball Wives. And now it's happening with Jackie. They keep forcing Jackie and forcing Jackie and forcing Jackie to have a scene with her daughter until they get what they're looking for. Until Jackie snaps. Actually, she didn't even snap because the daughter pushed her, but I digress. But I want to hear what y'all think. Why do y'all think a woman, Shaunie, would ever bring on a woman that she know her husband tried to get at, or a woman that she know her husband was with? What would be the reason for that? Make it make sense. So do y'all think that Evelyn been doing her dirty work? Or do you think it's just a coincidence? Put it down in the comments. Talk to me. I'll talk back. And Carlos, this is the type of interview that I like. See how you weren't like trying to feed answers. You were letting Roy talk. It was a good interview. This is what we like. So drop it down in the comments. Please like the video. Please comment, subscribe, do all of the things. Put your notification bells on. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.